Yes. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Livestream1 here. This is also this is another interesting video, kind of follow up to the rant video I posted. Today is September 14th, maybe on the 12th or the 11th. But it's rather recent. Just go check it out. It should be my recent uploads within the past couple of days. But this is a follow up on that video because unfortunately, or fortunately, or depending on how you view it, because I mean, insight is always a good thing. But I'd like to start off with to say that I've been a hypocrite to you guys. In that video, I mentioned something along the lines of, like, you know, if there's an obstacle in front of you, or there was an obstacle in front of you, or you went through hardships of XYZ, this and that, then you applying the fact that you went through these hardships in a prior engagement or in some other event, and then translate or transmit or take with you those hardships and those bad times with you to whatever your next goal or ambitions are, is not a good thing. That's weakness. That's not, you shouldn't do that. But looking into the history of Livestream1 here for a moment, I have quite a bit of history with furthering my education, with school, college, university, story time, I guess. So going back, like, it's 20, and I apologize, I'm going to try to recollect my memory here. This is very fragmented, and also shitty times I'm trying to recall here. Okay, I graduated high school in 2013. July 2013. Went to college straight out of high school. Let's see. Walked the stage, high school, like July, what? 3rd, 4th, whatever. July 4th, July 5th. No, June 4th, June 5th, right? June. And then I was in college. I was in a dorm in college by early August, mid-August. Now this college, oh dear God, this college is, I'm not sure if I should name this college. This is college in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Oklahoma, right? Pretty underfunded school. I don't think it's worth mentioning that it's a historical black college, or otherwise known as an HBCU, historical black college and / university. But very underfunded. I mean, I'm talking, the dorms were very not under, just severe, in need of severe maintenance. It was very, and I'm trying to remain as unbiased as possible, or trying to remain objective here, but the dorms were shitty, very dirty, very grimy, very gross. Shit didn't work half the time. The laundromat, there was like in the laundromat there was maybe, oh, and also keep in mind I'm a freshman, or I stayed there until I was a sophomore. But of course you're a freshman, you got to go in the freshman dorms, you dipshit. But the freshman laundromat, at least there was, I want to say, like 12 different washing machines, machines, and like maybe like 7 or 8 drying machines. Maybe a third of them works all of the time. So out of that number, you got like, what, 10, 12 washing machines, maybe 3 of them worked. And the 3 of them that did work, of course, were always occupied or breaking down because people would always use them. Same thing with the drying machine. Basically, quality of life was very poor, very extremely poor. And mind you, again, going back, I'm gonna flip flop here and jump on points. I'm trying to remain headstrong, or remain streamlined here. But went to this college didn't know anyone. Also, I have to keep in mind, I have to mention to you guys, this was a culture shock for me. I grew up in a predominantly suburban white neighborhood. I got a lot of white friends. But of course I got Mexican friends, I got black friends, I'm all over the place. But primarily I grew up with white kids. Not that there's anything wrong with that, or vice versa. Growing up with black Mexican, I'm LGBTQ4 plus. Don't yell at me. Don't stop cancel culture me, please. But anyway, I'm joking. This was a big culture shock for me, mind you, and I feel like looking back on it, I definitely wasn't mentally I wasn't mentally mature yet to really understand the circumstances or the position that I was in. But let's see. The quality of life was pretty poor. Living there was pretty poor. My roommates, oh god, this is, I'm divulging a little too much here on the internet. But my roommates, they smoke marijuana very frequently, if not daily, multiple times daily, mind you. And the our dorm was very, it was just a very gross place. Is There were dishes. I didn't have anything to do with the kitchen. All of my shit that I needed to eat or consume or anything that pertained to me was in my room. I didn't keep anything in the shower, nothing in the kitchen, nothing in the shared bathroom, nothing in the stalls, nothing in the shower, nothing. Everything that was me or mine was in my room. So, with that said, everything else was my roommates. There was oh god, there were gross dishes that were piled. I swear to God, I've seen a couple roaches and crickets in there more than a few times. But to be fair, quote unquote, there was a lot of infestations at that university. But yeah, dishes just piled up to the fucking to the top of the kitchen or to the top of the cabinets. Bugs everywhere, stains. Oh, it was nasty. And don't get me started on the shower that I had to share with these motherfuckers. God, that was gross. I'm surprised I didn't catch something. What is again? I'm gonna keep going back to the quality of life was terrible. It was poor. My classes, admittedly, thinking about the education of my time and at my university in Oklahoma, the education wasn't that hard at all, really. It wasn't, and I'm not blowing smoke on my own ass. Of course, I'd struggle with a test here and there, or studying this, studying that, project this, project that, whatever. But it was the education wise, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad at all. It was just the quality of life was striking, very different than what I was used to. And I'm not rich by any means. It's not anything like that. I'm not rich, not anything like that. I just having a clean bathroom and a kitchen where I can wash my shit occasionally, or a bathroom that's not disgusting by all means, is that's all I was really asking for. And of course, I wish the dorm didn't reek of weed 24/7, but I guess that is what it is. It's college. Um, but yeah, a lot of that, going through that on a daily basis definitely warped my sense of mental fortitude for sure. And I realize that now, but again, and I was living on like 35 like $40 a week max. I didn't eat very often in the cafeteria because the food was very subpar and gross. Even I think I got sick one time actually. uh so I didn't eat in the cafeteria very often, so that left me with the one on store in school convenience store. Of course, the same old bullshit that eventually would fuck up my intestines to the point where, I'm just eating, or of course I'm eating junk food every day. Going into the convenience store and trying to ration my shit with uh, heat up dinners and chips and candy and snacks and things of that nature. Yeah, very. Just thinking about that, it's gross. And of course, that they had I would treat myself occasionally, every other weekend with. They had some kind of in school restaurant. They actually had very great. It was greasy and slimy as shit, but God, it was pretty good. Occasionally. Uh, but like outside of that, I would have to force myself to make or commit 3 to 4.5 hours of, no, I wouldn't say three, more like max 3.5 hours out of my day to time my work schedule. No, I don't work. My school schedule with, okay, I had to catch the trolley or catch the bus, the in school bus system, because they would have like daily or weekly Walmart trips, right? Because I'm telling you, we're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. It's just the college, and then dirt and grass and demons all around, all around the school. There's nowhere unless you have a car, and I didn't have a car. Unless you had a car, there was no that was it. You just either catch the bus or get a ride, or I guess you walk in 3.5 hours to the nearest Walmart. But I would have to I would have to dedicate my school schedule or work around my school schedule to the point where I'd have to catch the trolley with my $30 to $40 worth of rations here, and go to Walmart and strategically choose edibles, consumables, to where I could live off the rest of that shit for at least like a couple weeks, so I wouldn't have to, begrudgingly pick another trolley ride to head back to Walmart to re up on rations and shit. But mind you, I couldn't just go all out and buy like all the shit, like 2 jugs of milk and this and that and cereal and chips and lunch meat and bread and all that kind of stuff. You know why? Because I'd have to bring all of this shit with me on the trolley, on the bus, and oh my god, and lug all of these goods from the trolley, which was like, I'd say like a good fourth of a mile. Like, nah, how do I? It was a good walk from the trolley station, from the where the bus dropped you off, all the way to my dorm, which was up a flight of stairs, mind you. So like, God, it was like what, 30 pounds ish, 25 to 30 pounds of food in each hand, more or less, and whatever the fuck I could fit in my backpack that didn't look like I was stealing, mind you. Uh, like across this goddamn, about like a football field and a half worth of walking distance, and up a flight of stairs into my dorm, which was the furthest door down to the left, down to the right. I mean, and again, like going through this on a weekly for 2.5 years, it definitely warped my mental and my mindset. And I didn't socialize. I didn't care to socialize. Again, culture shock for me. It was very, and I'm not trying to, I'm not racist. I'm trying my best not to allude to anything like that, but I'm trying to recall from memory and give you guys a window into my psyche at that time. But definitely, like, it was a culture shock for me. Grew up predominantly white neighborhood. I had a bunch of white friends, and then jumping into this historical black college where objectively it was like 95% black, the other 5% anything else, white, Mexican, whatever. I saw the occasional white cheerleader here, Mexican dudes there, whatever, um, uh, Middle Eastern, whatever. But 95% it was black, black guys, black chicks, whatever. Uh, and I wasn't. I just, again, I guess, just generalizing that, I didn't socialize at all. And if people tried to socialize with me, I just either didn't give a shit or I was put off by everything. Just the culture shock, oh, yo, what's up, my nigga, that type of shit. I guess without uh, making that racially charged. It's just it was a culture shock for me. Of course, I'm older now. I know how to mingle with people, that kind of thing. Of course, I'm old as shit. But at the time, I was probably age. I hate doing math. I was probably between the age of 19 and 20. I want to say, but I definitely wasn't 21 quite yet. I was not 21. Um, but yeah, it was, again. I guess I can write all of that off as really shitty quality of life. Really shit quality of life. And the fact that, and also piggybacking on that, my parents are very, very pro-black, very, proud black parents, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not sure if they understood the level of culture shock or circumstances that I was put in, going from, straight from high school to college within a 2.5 month time span to the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And I also understand a lot of that was my choice as well. But when your parents are very like pro college, are you gonna are you gonna go to college? Go to college. Go to college. You can do this. You can do that. Are you ready? You're ready. I don't know what else to say other than I guess so. Yeah. Even though looking back on it, I wish I had one. Like, I wish I had worked for a year. Hindsight is 2020, right? But again, quality of life was very poor. I didn't socialize with people. I've had a very shitty time at this university. So shit to the point where once I finished my sophomore year, I want to get the fuck out of there. I said, nope, I'm not doing this shit again, ever, ever again. No, 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 no. I think that was when I finally understood my struggle in math. Actually, everything outside of math and even up until now, I didn't really struggle with. It was, but I did at that university. I did fail math. Like I think it was like three or four times. Uh, and at that point, I was like, I mean, it wasn't even math that really bothered me. It was just the university in and of itself that really put me off. But yeah, uh, I definitely, I, I definitely had a really shitty time at this university. But fast forward to the end of my sophomore year, I told my parents I want to get the fuck out of here. I'm never coming back. Fuck the school, etc., etc., etc. Uh, to end on that note, what I was so mentally distraught with this school, like, and this again divulging a little too much on the internet. But I forgot what I was angry with or whatever. I did about $800 to $900 worth of damages to the dorm prior to me leaving. About 2 days before I left for good. I was pissed off at something. I put a couple holes in the wall, broke some shit. It was bad. It was bad. It was a bad time. And this leads credence to the fact that I'm telling you guys that I did not talk to anybody, whether it's faculty, staff, students, my teachers, whatever. I did not talk to anybody because I said, fuck those, fuck everybody. I just didn't care. I was definitely as time progressed during my freshman year, I was like, okay, if I needed to talk to somebody, whatever, whatever. If I need to do a group project, whatever, whatever. But after that, I want to say beginning sophomore year, that's when that Sasuke level of pissed offness. I don't know how else to correlate that to you guys, but that's when I really like stopped giving a shit and was like pissed off every day, 24/7, 28/7. Just did not give a shit. It's 100% done. I did not care. And I could definitely tell that my sense of morality, not morality, but my just my overall decorum, my sense of self was warping and changing and being altered. But again, did $800 $900 worth of damages, and when the guy came by and saw the damages, he's like, "Wow!" And my roommates were kind of known. I meant to say they were kind of known for causing trouble a lot, and they knew this. The dorm uh headmasters or whatever, I forgot the terminology, but they knew, and they knew I didn't do shit, and if I did do shit, it was because the internet wasn't working. That's all. That's literally it. So when I was about to leave, and my parents came to pick me up, whatever, and the headmaster's like taking my keys or whatever. He's like, "Wow, I can't believe you did all this damage." And before I could really own up to it, and the guy is like, "Hey, do you know who did this?" And before I could even answer, he's like, "You know what? Don't even say anything, man. I have a good idea who did it." He's like, it was like he basically said like, "It was nice having you. I can't see yourself. I can't see you having done this at all. You're too quiet. You don't talk to anybody, that type of thing." I said, "All right, cool." And to this day, I did not pay for those damages. I feel bad, and maybe if I get rich one day, I'll go back one day and pay off that debt. Perhaps, probably not. That's a sin that's one of the sins of live stream that you guys know now. If anybody watches this video, that is, and gets to this point in the video. Moving on. Um, it was a bad time. First college experience, straight out of high school, shitty historical black college. Or it's not the shitty historical black part, but going to a very underfunded school and going through what I did, circumstance wise, the culture shock and just the really shitty quality of life. And I could, there's a lot of things that I'm not that I'm like grazing over that again could be boiled down to quality of life. Again, I'm really stressing to you guys the quality of life is really shitty, super garbage, hot shit at that school. But I'm it's this recalling from memory is really difficult. Um, Moving on from there, from that, excuse me, from that college experience, I want to say I took off maybe, excuse me, I want to say I took off maybe 6 months, 6 to 8 months before my parents really started bothering me again about like, hey, so when you're gonna go back to school, this and that. And I finally, I think I got accepted into a more definitely a what I wouldn't say prestigious. That's not the right word, but this school definitely had a lot more money than my previous university, right? But the thing is, my parents weren't keen on paying for dormitories again, and I also understood that because it was a lot more expensive than the previous school, and on top of that, for whatever reason, it wasn't beneficial for me to jump into dormitories. It wasn't. It would be very expensive, and because I was a sophomore going in, I'd have to pay more because of some other factors that I can't really recall off of memory at the moment. But the short of it is, it wasn't a good idea to do dormitories, so I'd have to commute. And based on the classes that I had to take, I basically had to commute. Well, no, I had to commute 4 days out of the week. Actually, yeah, it was. I want to say it was 4 days out of the week, and it was about an hour long drive to and from this university in a car that was as gas inefficient as you could possibly think of. It was a 2008 Dodge Avenger. Thinking about the car, but the car had a myriad of issues that I had to deal with in some form or fashion that definitely added to the headache that was that commute. So going to this school, hour long to and from commute. And I guess looking at the holistically of this, I guess this is me bitching about the quality of life of going to school, which I mean, I'm pretty sure people have had to deal with in some form or fashion. I'm sure of course I'm not alone on that. Of course I'm trying not to make this of all me type of shit, but continuing, that definitely that commute and having to deal with the myriad of issues that commute also uh did a lot of that doing that commute caused the car that was already in need of heavy maintenance, that caused that maintenance to be intensified because I'm making an hour long commute to school 4 days out of the week. And I think I was working somewhere in between here too. My job wasn't really that far, probably like 20 minutes from home, what have you. But the short of that is hour long commute to and from school. And again, another large issue or another prominent issue with the school was math. Not that no, not with the school, but with myself. I failed math like I think it was again another 3 or 4 times that I failed math, and it's again I'm not blaming this on the school. That's not what I'm trying to say. But these struggles that I dealt with, and then people would suggest like, oh, would you even try to tutor? Okay, well, where am I going to get this tutor from? I would try to get a tutor, but if putting forth the effort to get a tutor and with the resources that I had, there was no getting a tutor without uh how do I like the way I would have to line up my schedule. I commute an hour to and from school and basically have to line up my classes to the point where if I'm lining up my commute to school, once I get to school, I'm staying there until my classes are done. Even if there's a fucking hour and a half in between my classes, even though I'd rather just get all my shit done and go home. Uh, but again, going back to my previous university in Oklahoma, it was so ingrained in myself, like just to not socialize. I didn't give a shit. I mean, I gave a shit about my education, of course, but socializing and networking, which is one of the big facets or big features of going to college, so you can network and meet people and find opportunities and shit like that. I'm not ignorant to that, but definitely my experience in Oklahoma definitely marred my experience in well, the university was in Denton, Texas, but uh, again, it was a pretty good university. The university was great. Was great. But definitely my experience from Oklahoma marred my experience with this university in Denton. So I probably most definitely missed out on a lot of opportunities of socializing and networking and shit like that because I was just trying to do my necessary work, whatever it may be, and get the fuck out, you know. But again, my held back, or what was holding me back a lot, was math. And and before somebody like, well, did you apply yourself? Did you try? Uh, Trying not to go too deep into the math part because this isn't really the whole point of the video. Is I would try my best. I did the lessons and everything. I went to the math lab. And out of all of the students, and of course the teacher didn't have to relay this to two out of the three professors that I have. Two of them relayed this information to me, and they did not need to, and straight up didn't need, and they probably shouldn't have. Like, you're out of all the students, it was like maybe like 20 students in there. Out of all the students, you are the one that accumulates the most time in the math lab. And to some people, that may be a good or bad thing. They may be like, well, you're in the math lab for quite a long time, but you don't seem to be retaining the information. What's going on there? Or somebody's like, oh, well, yeah, you're spending a lot of time in the math lab. I'm assuming you're trying to take this shit seriously. You're trying to make sure you understand your stuff. Depends on the person, of course. But going on somewhat of a tangent there. Uh, when it comes to college, I definitely did not have the smoothest of transitions. And the times that I was in college definitely did not help anything. It didn't help my mental. It didn't help my financial situation. It hasn't helped me get a job yet. Well, of course, I mean, duh, I haven't graduated, more or less. I guess to give you a quick rundown of where I'm at now, I'm at more or less, like, I guess, 90 something credit hours out of 120-ish, 115, somewhere around there. And I've yet to progress that. So I'm kind of just getting by with this current job that I have that's luckily a hookup, but that's a whole nother fucking video. Um, just in general, the obstacles and and again, this is leading back to the video, the willpower rant video that I posted a couple days back. Go and check that out if you haven't watched that yet, and then come watch this one or listen to this one. The obstacles and the trouble and the difficulties that I went through with college have definitely warped my mindset to where it's so ingrained in me now that anything education or school related that somebody mentions, or that I need to, or that I should like progress, or to further my education so you get the papers, so you have more job opportunities, I'm like, well, you know what, fuck you, and fuck that school, or fuck those education opportunities, because I've already tried that. I waste, again, and this depends on the person. For me, since 2013 up until now, I've wasted, in my opinion, 5 to 7 years of my life in school with this mental anguish, all these shitty opportunities, or shitty situations and scenarios that I was in, uh, and dealing with situations and scenarios that I wouldn't have had to deal with otherwise if I wasn't going to school, such as more monetary and more maintenance being put on the car that I had at the time. So that was my already shitty paycheck coming from whatever part-time job I was working with at the time after the Oklahoma University, was going towards this car because it needed maintenance, because I was doing hour-long commutes, which that's longer than that, actually, because you got to go an hour or two, and then plus traffic, hour and some change from. So all of these situations and wasted monetary and shitty mental and shitty habits, uh, bad mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Maturity, or late blooming mental maturity. All of these bad facets that I attribute to college, I still hold very close to the chest. And I feel like that has definitely held back a lot of my progression in life, because I am still hyper focused on the fact that I feel like I've wasted time in college and it hasn't done shit for me. And I want to, and again, going back to the willpower video, I would like to say Livestream1 is a hypocrite in saying that, if you go through some hardships or some trouble or some obstacles in a previous experience, my previous experience being college, multiple universities or college, and going through this and having a shitty experience with this, or shitty living situations and scenarios and shitty quality of life when it comes to furthering my education, I shouldn't, or should try, at least for me, I should try not to let those experiences hinder my progression towards wanting to further my education later. But I do. It's difficult for me uh, not to think about those situations and apply them to now, because I don't want to waste the already little or small amounts of monetary that I have on college. I don't want to waste more time, that the time that I already have, 5 to 7 years, in getting those 90 credit hours that don't mean shit from that schooling. And I just don't, I don't want to go through that again. Who does? It's almost like there's some there's some, what's the word, psychology or terminology that I'm missing here, where it's almost like, a dog does something bad or does something that they thought was good or thought was okay, and they get quote unquote punished for it, or they get a bad response from it, and they don't want to do it again because they don't want to go through that response again, right? I guess that's how I'm correlating it to myself. I already went through that shit, did that shit. It was a shitty time. I don't want to do that again, so I'm not gonna do that again. And fuck anything regarding that aspect of those situations: school, furthering my education, university, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But again, leading back to me being a hypocrite, the last video, I still think that's true. With the last video, if try your best to not let bad or past experiences hinder or affect your future endeavors, because I feel like that's definitely the best way to mature and move forward. But that's me though. That's me in the sense that it's difficult. For me again personally, to it's difficult for me to not use those past situations, or look at those past situations and apply them to now. It's extremely difficult. I get seethingly angry even thinking about it, and it's an irritant for me. But I wonder for you guys, perhaps maybe you've went through some shit in the past, and that the shit that you went through in the past applies through something that you have to do going forward, or maybe it's something that you have to deal with now. How difficult or how easy is it for you guys? Is it simple? Is it just like, it's a learning experience, I gotta shrug it off, it's whatever? Do you have a really tough time moving forward because of your past experiences? I wonder. But I think I'm gonna leave this video here. It's about 30 fucking minutes of me ranting about whatnot. Um, but yeah, if you liked anything I had to say, or if I made you loud, drop a like, turn on notifications, leave a comment. Please leave a comment on anything that you may have had interest in what I said, or maybe what I didn't say. And I will see you in the next one.